Hi guys, I've been having some correspondence with Alex about how to get a better distance from a gravity powered car. He came up with some suggestions about trying to get the weight to fall at a 45-degree angle so it travels further, so you get a longer pull on the string. I've had a think about that. I've come up with a slightly different idea where I'm going to use a pulley on the weight. You'll see what I mean in a minute. First of all, I'm going to try it with the fan-driven gravity-powered car. In fact, probably nothing will happen at all because this isn't a particularly lightweight car, and I don't think we'll get enough speed, revolutions per minute, on that fan blade to actually get the car to move at all. But we'll give it a go. So first of all, we'll try it with a straight drop, and then we'll try it with my idea that will more or less double the distance that we get from the string. You can hear noise in the background. That's because it's raining hard outside, and you can hear it on my conservatory roof. So first of all, we'll just try it straight. Help if I do it the right way round. Right, so we'll just let that go, see if we get any movement at all. No, nothing at all. This car's a little bit heavier than the other one I was using. Anyway, we'll try plan B, which involves using this pulley. This time, we hook one end of the string onto here, and you have a pulley on the weight. So now it travels further. Whether that gives us any more string pull, I'm not sure, but we'll see. That's raining pretty hard outside. I don't know if you can hear that. Right, let's see if there's any difference. That looks to me like it's got less power, which is logical. So that didn't seem to help at all. What I'll do now though is I'll connect to the back axle and see if we go any further. So we'll go back to the first option, just the straight drop. again. This time I'll grab the camera and follow it. Right, that's going to give us a problem. It's gone the length of my kitchen and the length of my conservatory. So if it's going to go any further using the pulley effect, we're not going to notice. I'll rig up the pulley on the weight again. Right, wind it up again. Ready to bring the camera with us. Off we go. Right, straight away we can see it's got less power. So it looks like putting the pulley on it didn't help at all. I've got one other thing I want to try. On the outside of that wheel, the right hand wheel, we've got a big pulley. So I shall attach the string to that and see if a fast acceleration gets us to go any further. Should be able to see the full run from here without me trying to move the camera. So what we should get is faster acceleration because we got a bigger gear, in effect, a bigger pulley on the back, but we've only got 2 turns, so the wheels will only do 2 revolutions under power. So it's fast acceleration and then it has to freewheel. So let's see how it does. That's probably a bit of an extreme example, but I hope you could see much faster acceleration but much shorter distance under power, and then we had to freewheel, and it didn't freewheel very far. So the end result was it didn't travel as far as the first version. This time we've got the pulley on the weight again, and interestingly enough I've got exactly the same number of turns. So even though it looks like we ought to get more movement on the string by having the pulley on the weight, it's actually making no difference to the total length of the string wrapping around that back axle or around that back pulley. So you'll have to do some maths on that to find out why that is, but we'll give that a try and see what happens. And basically, less power. Summary time. I've tried to cover quite a few different items in this video, probably too many, but I'll do my best to review them. If we just put the camera down a second. First of all, this car probably isn't ideal for this test in that it doesn't go very far, but we're comparing the differences in using extra pulleys and fan driven versus ordinary axle driven, so the distance it travels probably doesn't matter. First thing we established was the fan driven wasn't anything like as effective as being driven by the axle. Second thing we established was putting an extra pulley on top of the weight and trying to increase the distance of travel didn't help, because it actually reduced the actual power available. And then I think the third thing we established was using a much bigger pulley on the back compared to the width of the axle made it accelerate significantly faster, but you got much less distance under power, so you were relying on it freewheeling, and this particular car doesn't freewheel particularly well. So none of the enhancements I tried made it any better than it would have been simply attached straight to the back axle. I'm not saying this is conclusive proof, but that's how it works for me. The only other thing I can think of doing here is actually putting the weight on wheels and actually build a tower at this end with a 45-degree slope down to the front, and have the weight on a string attached to the back axle sitting at the top of the slope, which will be about here somewhere, and running down that slope or that incline. So it travels at a 45-degree angle. That means the distance it travels will be slightly further than it does under a vertical drop. I'd have to do the maths to work out the difference. It's not going to be significantly more than the vertical drop. Let's just say an increase of 25% maybe. And I don't think that's enough to make a significant difference to the distance it's going to travel, or the car's going to travel, especially when that means it's going to have less power, because it's not falling vertically, it's falling at an angle. I might try that, but certainly what we've tried here was no benefit whatsoever.